Chop it up, baby.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the Sprout and Dusty Show. I am Sprout the Anti-Hero co-host, and the other co-host, as always, is Dusty Grant. What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. Just excited to be back here on the Sprout and Dusty Show. Excited to have a great guest on tonight, and just curious to see how your week's going, dude. What you been up to?
Man, I quit smoking cigarettes, man. I quit smoking tobacco, and while I'm really cool with not smoking a cigarette, I'm really not cool with this sensation of just wanting to tear cinder blocks apart with my bare hands, man. It's like it's just like, oh man, I can't. That kid messing with me again. See?
So you're what? You're 24 to 48 hours out, right?
I mean, yes. It'll be 48 hours tomorrow morning, man, and I'm okay. But you know what? It's still like all the physical stuff that you got to go through is where at least I'm not withdrawing from heroin. Okay. Yeah. I can handle this.
I hear that's unpleasant. From what I see, I hear that's pretty unpleasant. Guys, before we get too far into this, we do want to thank our sponsor, Big Fish Bail Bonds. They're Wichita's number one bail bondsman, serving Wichita and Sedgwick County. If you guys get in trouble, call 316-262-4100, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and have your loved ones wake up at home. Big Fish Bail Bonds will get you out of jail if you should end up there, and you do not want to end up there. But if you do, you can call them and they will save the day. Thank you to Big Fish Bail Funds for sponsoring the Sprout and Dusty Show. Also, guys, if you haven't yet, please share this on your pages. Please share it in a watch party. Anything you can do to help us spread the word about the show. It helps our sponsors. It helps us. It helps our guests.
A whole lot.
We are extremely grateful for it. We're starting to grow. We're starting to get new platforms, and that is all thanks to you and sharing the show. So appreciate that. Start a watch party. Help us out. So Sprout, have you noticed that your appetite has been more since you quit smoking?
Dude, today I ate a Popeye's chicken sandwich and a 4-piece and a biscuit. Yes, I am hungry today. And oh man, it's just what it's. I don't know. It feels like somebody gave me a shot of adrenaline. And all I want to do is just take off running out the front door.
And like not in a good way though, right?
That's what, right? But I mean, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, the anxiety.
Like, oh man, I can't do that shit around here, man. I'll for sure be detained by the police.
Yeah, running. I can see you running through your neighborhood doing that. I'm sure that would be really well received.
As people run in running shoes every day, they're gonna look at, why are you running? Like, oh shit. I just quit smoking. Like
get away from him, run away. Yeah, man, that hostility is like I found myself like the kids are like, what are you looking at? Stop looking at stuff.
Right.
Stop thinking. Stop. I'm like, oh my God, you're being a complete jerk. Bro. Go outside, take a deep breath. I still fall off the wagon, I still have one every once in a while.
Right.
That hostility those first couple days, bro.
Well, I mean, I'd quit smoking for like a year, and excuse me, I did that with Chantix. It wasn't bad, other than like the restlessness, but I did okay for an entire year. I was hanging out with smokers. I was actually kicking it with people in smoking sections and things like that. I went back home for the holidays and was around my family, and we passed around the Hennessy bottle. The blunt might be passed around a few times, and sure enough, you got a damn Newport in your hand. Like, fuck.
Yeah, peas and carrots.
Right, they just go hand in hand, man. Like, I don't even smoke Newports, man, but I smoked that shit. It was good. And, like, It was like that out of jail cigarette.
Jail.
Yeah, jail sucks. But yeah, I'm just tired of it, man. And there's all kinds of arguments that can be made in favor of not having such a habit. And I'm not really judgmental on people who do certain things. And it's your body. Kill yourself if you want to in that manner. I mean, the second we're all born, we start to die from something. So it's I just don't. I'm just actually just tired of smoking. Cigarettes.
Man, it's so expensive. What's up, Matthew? We got a listen from Canada. Matthew, thanks for tuning in, brother. But yeah, I mean, it's
I'm
like
cool with Canada.
Hell yeah! But nowadays, like a pack of cigarettes, even here in Wichita, is like $7 or $8, right? I mean, I haven't bought a pack for a while, but I mean, it's like $7, $8.
Well, thank you, Angela. Thank you very much. Here in Colorado, a pack of what I smoked was Camel 99 Blues, which would be the equivalent of lights before they couldn't say lights anymore.
Right.
But those were like just $6.12 a pack.
Jesus, that's still
a
lot of money.
That was like 2014 Oklahoma prices right there. They thought cigarettes were cheaper there. Well, of course, they've got all these things because they want to beat morality and legality over your head as if they're kind of intertwined, which they shouldn't be. But they wrap all that stuff into what they choose to call a sin tax. That includes alcohol, tobacco, hell, and in some states that includes condoms.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing that places like that still exist. Like these closed-minded, like super, like old-fashioned, like just rickety old views and these things. It's like, what world are they living in? How is that a thing? A sin tax?
I mean, even Kansas has a sin tax of some extent. They tax pornography. I should know. I worked in an adult bookstore in Kansas. Yeah, they want to talk trash on it, but they're still going to collect money from it. And so
that's why. Yeah, if they can't collect money from it, they won't be open here. We know that.
It's almost a sick, twisted way of knocking your own hustle. Hi, Bonnie. How are you doing? You doing all right? Cool. Man,
guys, if you haven't yet, please start watch parties. Share this with a friend. We're moments away from bringing on our guest, and I just wanted to say one more time, please start watch parties. It helps us get the views out, helps us spread the word. The Facebook regime is not letting us get our word out very easily these days. So every share helps. And this is a super high budget show, but we just can't afford the advertising right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those deals. It's like we are extremely listener supported right now. We may have a sponsor, but it's you guys that help keep us on the air. And we really do appreciate every time you guys share and start watch parties and interact with us, because that's what all this is for. We just interact with each other, and it's a good chance for me to kind of see and talk to everybody I don't normally get to see and talk to. So that's always been a cool thing.
Oh yeah. Speaking of seeing people that you haven't talked to for a while, why don't you tell us about our next guest, sir?
Well, first off, I'd like to say this is the first episode of the Sprout and Dusty Show that isn't going to be a complete and total sausage fest. So let's give us a round of applause for that. Ladies, we finally have an awesome, cool ass female on the show. Let's bring on Bwana Villa from Rise Again, lead vocalist. How you doing, sister?
I mean, I feel like I'm an honorary sausage member. But okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I think that's.
You know what? I'll laminate you a card and send it to you in the mail.
Yeah, you get a sausage.
I'll put it in my wallet right next to my ghetto pass.
Word.
Ghetto pass now. Every time you come on the show, you add an accolade to your resume.
Right.
Well, we can never stop growing, Dusty.
No, we cannot. You need to strive in these hard times. Achievements are
man,
carrots that keep us going.
So what's going on, sister? How you been?
It's been good, man.
It's been a minute since I actually sat and had a conversation with you. You know, like it's been over a year. I know I moved away and stuff, so it's your fault.
you up and abandoned the crew. It's okay. It's all right.
Oh man, well,
It's all right. We know you're a Rolling Stone. That's all good. No, I've been good, man. I've been suffering through this stuff like everybody else. I'm assuming, itching to play, missing you guys for sure, missing being on the road with everybody. That's for damn sure.
I miss it too, and it's bad for me because I was already out of commission for a year before this.
Yeah,
you know. So my entire year was spent planning to get back out there, and it's not gonna happen. So
and it got to the point like I got to play one there in the middle, like kind of spritzed in to give me a little bit of a taste of. And we went up. Me and Shane played that show at Barleycorns, and it was like, man.
Yeah, I wish I could have been there. I really wanted to be at that show.
That was fun. I'd like to do that again. And now, you know, who knows when that's going to happen. I mean, I know you're plying your trade in other ways, obviously, as you always are. But it's not the same when we can't all get together in person and drink beers and catch up and, you know, have each other's backs and stink and eat crappy food. And
hey, man, sometimes I make you good food.
Yeah, that's true.
I've gotten plenty of good food over the years.
Well, yeah, it's mostly on the road. You know, when you're like at truck stops, there's usually not a lot of options, and if there are options, they're pretty expensive, and you're not really, you know, raking it in when you're out there.
Yeah, I believe I've said on the same. I believe I've told people religiously to stay away from the like Flying J chicken wings. Those aren't good at all. Your guts will regret it.
I mean, that just sounds bad.
Woo! Asshole explosion, brother. It ain't good, man.
At least it's not spicy.
But that's part.
Just say.
But that's the tough part, you know, of what we do. Like when you're traveling on the road and you're trying to do the right thing and you're trying to eat right, man. And it's just tough because you don't trust a gas station salad, even though it's a salad. You just don't trust it, man.
Or like sushi at a gas station.
I was like sushi at a buffet.
Yeah.
No. I don't know what idiot. The people that eat that shit.
Sushi.
I'm like, you sure about this? You're new here.
You're like, no. It's like you wonder why you're getting sick, bro. You're eating sushi that's been sitting out at room temperature
for hours.
It's just insane.
They think that little piece of metal that sits on is going to stay cool enough for my taste. I don't think so.
Yeah, no way.
I think it's got to maintain at least even like 30 degrees. I don't care if the rice sticks on it a little bit. It just better be cold. That's the only way you know. It might even freeze the fish a little bit. I don't care. It'll melt in your mouth. It's fish. You know?
Right. Nobody likes hot fish.
Hot fish.
Hot fish.
Speaking of wait a minute.
Speaking of what?
Wait a minute now. Hold on now.
Okay. Jasmine N says, speaking of hot fish, Jasmine N says, I'd eat it.
Talk about hot fish.
Hugo, brother. Thanks for tuning in, man. So what's going on with Rise Again these days, Bwana? Are you guys doing anything? You're working on guitar players, is that correct?
Well, I mean, honestly, as far as like the COVID shutdown, it was kind of worked well for us because we did just like get into the mode of looking for a guitar player and trying to write new material. So it kind of worked well that we didn't have to like hurry and rush to do that. We've really just been working on trying people out and taking our sweet time. I just really don't want to get into a situation where we get with somebody that's not like as devoted and passionate about the project as we are. So, I mean, we've been working with some different guitar players, some really good ones, but we're trying to just like get to know everybody and their writing style and like chemistry and do we get along and, you know, those types of things. So that takes a little bit of time. I've never been one to rush into adding a member, especially when, you know, we've been together for so long and we have such good history. So, yeah, but we've been, you know, trying people out. I've been doing some other stuff on the side as far as like working with some other musicians. Just recorded a cover with another musician friend of mine. Her name is Jasmine Jones. She's a really good guitar player. She's also a really good producer. And
Okay.
I just like hanging out with the chick. She's just really talented, and it's nice to find somebody else. I mean, there's not a whole lot of African American musicians in this genre of music. So whenever
No.
I do come across one, I'm always interested to see what their journey's been like, and just try to figure some stuff out. I know me and Sprout need to do something together at some point in time.
It's funny because it's funny because people really don't think so. There is a connection between African American musicians and metal.
Mm-hmm.
And we do talk to each other. We do have a network. Like just don't think because we ain't rich and famous don't mean we don't know somebody who is, We talk to them. They want to hear about our experiences out there because we look like them. Mm-hmm. There are times, just like anybody, regardless of what you look like or where you come from, you're always going to want to have that connection to somebody like yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same reason I would go to AA.
That's if you have a problem. If there
right. If I had a problem, you know what I'm saying?
Only if there was a problem. Do you find most of the people that are auditioning are cool with kind of just dipping the toe in the water, and they're not in like a big hurry, like they want answers now? Like, are they cool with? I
haven't had that issue with anybody. No, I think a lot of people know us pretty well. And then they know we're pretty serious about everything and try to be professional about things. I think that's probably one of the draws to us a lot of times is that they know we're not going to just be playing in our basement, not playing shows, not being, getting out there. So, I mean, it's an investment on our part. It's an investment on their part. And I'm very upfront about, everything from the very beginning, as far as even the application process. Yes, there's an application process, and even sometimes that can be a turnoff for people. But if that's a turnoff for you, then that's going to be a turnoff for me, that you don't have the patience to see what we're about and tell us what you're about. Yeah.
Well, you guys, I mean, you put so much into it as an artist. Like, you obviously know this. You put so much into it as an artist, and you've got all this time invested in this sweat equity, and you don't just want to let anybody into that. Inside that force field. And I think that's why the three of us have gotten along so well, because we do all kind of keep a small circle and a tight knit circle, and we kind of look out for each other, just because it is something that makes you vulnerable at times, when you're tired and you're out there and doing that, and you want to be around the right people when you're in those environments.
I'm just super protective in general, like as far as my band goes, as far as even with you guys, and when we were doing the ICT Unplugged stuff, I'm just super protective of the people that I work with. And I want to make sure that, it's people that I trust, people that I know are going to be on time, going to pull the weight, and it was always like that with us, as far as when we had shows, somebody always had, if somebody had slack, somebody else was picking it up, and we always, even though we're not in a band together, it was kind of like we were all in a band together, because we were all who's got lighting, who's got this, who's got that, let's come up with
we're putting together resources.
How are we going to promote this? How are we going to, it's always a team effort, and I want to make sure that I bring in somebody that's just as driven as me and Shane and Brandon are. And as far as playing, we can play right now if we want to. Brandon, he knows all the songs on guitar,
right?
And he's doing really well at it. So we could definitely go back out and do acoustic shows if we wanted to. But I mean, there's really not any point in trying to do that right now. There's just too much sketchiness as far as availability and venues and who's open, who's not, and are they, even if you book a show this week, are they going to be open next week?
Right.
I've had people offering us shows. I'm sure you guys have too, but it's just now it doesn't really make sense to me. And I mean, I work at a hospital, so I mean, I kind of stay ahead of the curve as far as okay, I mean, I know you're booking shows right now, but you might want to go ahead and cancel that. It's really not gonna happen.
I asked you for your opinions early on when I was debating on canceling. The first show that I canceled was a show in Tulsa. And I was really conflicted about canceling it, and it's so,
because we don't cancel. We don't cancel.
But I don't really cancel either.
Look at it. It's so weird. It's so weird now. It's just acceptable, and the venues that know that they might have to cancel, and everything is so flimsy. It's you book a show, and it kind of makes you you're sketchy whether you're even going to play it. You're like, I guess I'm going to throw the dice out there. If it happens, I'll play it. If it doesn't, I won't. And like, I've got one on the books, actually, the one that you and I are, that you're going to join me for. I don't know if that's happening.
I don't know if that's going to happen.
I haven't heard anything. I don't know.
Yeah, we have a show scheduled for I think our first one was that Femme Fatale show that we accepted, that we shoot on for at least 2 months. And it was for a lot of reasons that we did that. As I'm in a job where, I'm in a hospital. Shane works, with you. So, we have to be careful about the type of situations we put ourselves in. But, we talked about it, and, we had a plan in place, and we were going to do that Femme Fatale show on the 29th of August. But, that's at the Elbow Room, which sadly that they're closed right now. So, and, that sucks in so many ways. But it hasn't been canceled as of yet. But, I mean, I'm not thinking it's good.
Canceled till September 8th or 9th, right?
I haven't heard anything about it as far as like if it's canceled or not. But I don't know what the extension is like as far as like how long things are closed right now, or I'm just not putting too many eggs in that basket. And the only other show we booked besides that one was the one with you that we talked about, and that's not even our show. That's us playing with you, which we do that quite often, and I was really looking forward to that. So hopefully that happens, but who knows?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. Right. I just noticed that the venue, I'm not going to out anything. But the venue had posted some stuff about some past concerts, but I noticed he had told me that they were going to start promoting like 2 weeks ago, and that's not happening. So I'm wondering if the show is happening, or it's a weird position to be in, because there's a different, for me as a musician, like I don't have a ton of, I know you guys are the same. I don't have a ton of free time. So when I do have free time, I kind of have to plan what I'm going to do with it. Am I going to use it to write? Am I going to use it to rehearse? Am I going to use it to take care of some bills? Am I going to use it? So I'd like, when I don't have shows, I'm dedicating my jam time more to like writing and brainstorming and thinking of ideas and being creative. When I have shows scheduled, I'm using that time to rehearse what I'm planning to perform and be ready. So it's like, for me, I don't know how other musicians are, but like for me, it's a mode that I get in. I agree. When I have shows going on, I make sure that I pick my guitar up every night, play through that set, work the kinks out of it as much as I possibly can. And like right now, I've been a little more creative lately, but if I have a show in 3 weeks, I have to start getting ready for it. But I don't know if I can start getting ready for it. I'm kind of in a groove with the writing, and I don't know what to do with that. And now I'm worried, and I don't know what to do. And it's just it's just a really weird, uncertain time that I think we've all been in, and it's this weird limbo. I think I think when the thing is over, though, think about how much awesome content there's going to be.
No, I agree with that.
I've got a. What do you think, Bwana? What do you think the future holds for when things do open back up? There's a lot of new music that is being written right now. There's going to be a lot of bands that are wanting to get on the road, and there's going to be obviously fewer venues. What do you think the future holds for people who actually do make their living on the road? Do you think things will get better for them, or do you think they're going to take a hit financially because they're just not paying so much, or do you think the pool will be very short depending upon the venue for bands and artists to perform?
I think that a lot of people that do this as a profession, like this is like their living, have relationships with venues, like in-depth relationships with those venues.
Right.
I think that always is going to factor in as far as like if the market, once it opens back up and the market is flooded with all of these bands and musicians that are ready to get back out there. I know that's going to be like a tidal wave of that, but I also know that there's going to be those people that, venues depend on, that they know are going to like push and market and promote and do the work and deserve those places. I do think it's going to be a struggle for sure. Obviously, less venues is going to make it more difficult to tour for anybody. But I think that as far as like, people that have, like I said, a history of, doing this as a living, like really seriously, professionally, that invest their time and money and invest time in those relationships, I think it's going to take some time, but I think it'll get back to where it was. People are craving entertainment. I mean,
you're not even
got
kidding.
like dying for it. So
yeah,
I mean, I know it's difficult right now because venues don't have, you know, the influx of people to keep their doors open, but I don't think that'll be an issue once the holds are lifted off of, you know, everybody. I think that people have got a taste of what it's like to be isolated and separated and have to just work and go home and not spend time with, you know, people that you care about, or just, you know, socializing in general. I think people took it for granted. I think once, you know, that hold is lifted, that the market's going to be flooded with people again that want to get out and be entertained. So I mean, it's going to obviously take that time to build it back up, but I think it'll get back to where it was, honestly. But I think initially, I think it's going to be easiest for the people that are professionals that do this as a living, because like I said, they have those relationships built. You know, I mean, most of us have like a list, or our guarded black book of relationships on the road, you know, that, you know, those venues that we stay in contact with, even when we're not playing shows at those venues, you know, like
many of them we for sure we have personal relationships with. Yeah,
absolutely. And I'm like, I've had, like I said, I've had a number of venues that we've played in the last couple of years that have contacted us, and, you know, they're like, hey, well, as soon as this is up, you just let us know and we'll get you on the books as soon as possible. And, you know, those things matter. So, you know, if you're one of the types of bands that, you know, are good at building those relations and building that rapport, I think it'll be a lot easier once everything opens back up again, that a lot of, you know, the venues will come to you because they know that they can work with you and they can count on you. So
that's for sure.
The way I see it.
The only thing I've noticed is that's a little weird, and I just thought of it as you were talking, is like relationships are like, you know, it's like when you're playing The Sims, you have to have these relationships with everybody in your life, and you have to like build these little attributes, and you have to dedicate a certain amount of time to cultivate relationships on that game. And it feels like, since I'm not booking anything right now, I'm not cultivating my friendships with the booking people, especially the people out of town, and I'm not going out there and feeding that plant or whatever it is. So I hope that those relationships don't deteriorate because there's no booking going on. But I know I'm no different than anybody else. You know what I mean? So it's this weird limbo. But I think there's going to be a ton of people looking to get out there right away. And it's going to be like hyper competitive to where everyone's willing to play for peanuts. And then
I've gotten messages from venues where artists have canceled.
Yeah,
they're still looking for people to book. I'm like, wow. I mean, so it's both sides of the. I mean, it's just so weird. It's the Stephen King novelist musicians, working musicians never wanted.
It's just weird. Are you doing anything solo? Are you working on any solo material? Or because I know I've seen you posting some stuff on social media about working on solo stuff.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Do you have plans? Do you have plans to do anything with that, or is that just something you're doing for fun? Or what's your thoughts on that?
I legitimately write solo stuff like all the time. I have thousands of songs that nobody's ever heard, and that's just like something I have to do to keep myself like creative, as far as like trying different things, listening to different styles of music. And I love playing guitar. Like, most people don't know that about me, but I've played guitar for at least 15 years. And, you know, I listen to a lot of like country, bluegrass. I listen to a lot of rock. I listen to a lot of metal. And I just kind of like to sometimes, you know, try different things out. But yeah, I've got a lot of solo stuff written. You've nudged me about doing solo stuff before. And I've thought about it, but no.
I'm kind of nudging you right now.
No, I mean, I think I'm go ahead.
You're stuttering.
Here's the thing, Bwana,
Hold on, she's blushing.
Right. I was where you were at. Seriously, like I have all these other skills, and I've done nothing but want to use them in music. So there came a point to where I felt like I was so pigeonholed as far as what I was doing, like being a metal singer and, you know, what I do on stage. I just felt like that's all people knew of me, and I wanted people to know more. And there's always this reserve about, showing what you really showcase because people are just so used to seeing you in a certain way. I face that fear, you know. I'm not sure if that's anything you feel you have to face or anything, but like,
oh no, definitely it is.
I did, but I it was just I got to play piano. I got to I got to do everything I wanted. I got to make a 4-song EP and put something out, and it was totally unlike anything I'd ever done before.
And one of the best things I've ever heard from you.
Man, if you, I'd be really interested in hearing a few songs solo from you. That'd be great. And I saw your post earlier, and it was about the amount of bluegrass and Americana that you were listening to, and I think I responded. I forgot what I said, but
you said don't do it or something like that.
Yeah, well, no.
Style of music that there's like a set like what was it that you said? I wish I could go back and look at it.
Honestly, I don't feel like a member of the singer-songwriter club unless I wear a trucker hat and sport a beard. No,
hey.
Whoa! Shots fired on that one for sure.
I'm serious. Like I feel
I'm off camera.
On all of our tours, I was the only guy without facial hair.
Is he gonna come back wearing something else? Is he gonna come back with no trucker hat on?
No, they never treated me bad or anything, but it's like everybody had this thing in common where like they had this Americana roots thing where like at home as a singer-songwriter, I love a lot of hip hop and I love a lot of R&B and soul music. Those are like my roots. I do like that stuff. I do like, you know, a lot of Americana, and I do like some bluegrass music. I mean, it's great music, and it takes a lot of skill, and it's just wonderful stuff. But that's just not where I come from. Like the music I'm making at home, holy cow, it's way different from what I did starting out as a singer-songwriter, sitting there playing with an acoustic guitar. And I've sat back and I recorded some things, and I can't wait to put it out, but I'd much rather go out there on the road and sell it than just sit at home and put it out.
It's part of life, man.
Y'all would hear my new stuff and be like, man, what the hell is he doing? What is he thinking? Like,
well,
what direction you going in next? You know?
You said it was going to be kind of a little bit more hip-hoppy, right?
Yeah.
Like what I was reading.
Neo soul hip-hoppy. Yeah.
I love that stuff too.
I do too. And there's things I've incorporated from even metal into that stuff. Like there's things I've kind of incorporated, but my direction as far as being a singer-songwriter hasn't really necessarily put a boundary on me simply because of my access to technology. You know, I could do anything I wanted, and that's the freedom I've always had. I didn't want to be just like everybody else as a singer-songwriter. I wanted to do something a little bit different. And this quarantine's given me a little bit of time to do so. I mean, is there anything that you've worked on, Bwana, as far as having the time to brush up on certain skills? I know you got a little home studio set up. I know you like to dabble in a little production and fun yourself. Is that something you're looking forward to learning a whole lot more of just for songwriting purposes? Because it seems that's where it's going.
Absolutely. I've always wanted to do something that most people probably aren't aware of. I'm really into like electronica and pop music and like London Grammar, like Tuvlo, Imogen Heap, those types of musicians. And
those are good.
I've done some Portishead, you know, that type of just like kind of
trip hop. That's my favorite stuff.
I love trip hop. That's there's just so much like, and that's kind of like you said. It's like it's got some neo soul in it. It's got some, you know, some hip hop. It's got some rock. It's got some blues. It's got, you know, that's just like it's got everything mixed in there, and that's what I really like about trip hop. But yeah, I write all over the place. I write. I don't like being pigeonholed either, which that's where like I get to breathe at. Is when I am writing my own stuff. I mean, I've got stuff that sounds, you know, that sounds country. I've got stuff that sounds rock. I've got stuff that sounds hip hop, bluesy, or, you know, I grew up, you know, when I started singing, I was singing R&B music. I sang in an all-girl R&B group.
Me too.
Oh, you sing in R&B? Is that right?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. We were singing Shy covers and portrait covers.
Oh man, yeah. So that's what I started out in. But I just like that wasn't
I'm in,
something.
Hugo.
I just wasn't passionate about it. Like I was doing it because I was capable of doing it. I was telling, Dusty, we were talking earlier, and I was like, I got kicked out of choir twice. I got kicked out of orchestra. I got kicked out of piano class, because I just didn't want to conform to what they wanted me to do. They wanted me to.
That was me too.
They wanted me to sing lead. They wanted me to sing operatic. They wanted me to, do all of these things. And I'm like, I could do it, but I don't want to do it. That's not where I want to be at. I want to be like the stuff you hear on the radio, not this. I don't want to be in theater or whatever else. So, I've got roots in a lot of different areas, but it was like, as far as like what I'm passionate about, that's always probably going to be rock. I'm just really good at that type of writing. And
all right, me too.
It's a strength for me, but I do love, working on electronic type of music. And yes, I have dabbled around with some of that. Not a lot of people have heard it. I've let a few people hear it. But I, over this quarantine stuff, I've been looking more into like getting, up to par on like the technology and being able to put a studio together, not just for me, but for Jasmine too, just so we can do like some live, like streaming and some sing along stuff and that type of thing. I will probably get into the solo stuff a little bit more. And yes, I am apprehensive about it because it is a completely different side of me. So like, I have an issue with seeing the stuff that I write as boring because it's not as amped up and aggressive as what people are used to hearing me play. But occasionally I'll, not be shy and I'll post a little something that I like wrote for a movie or whatever, like, just kind of changing a song around. Like, I think the last thing I posted was a Phil Collins cover that I like kind of flipped around and slowed down a little bit. The other one was Sweet Caroline that I kind of made a really super depressing song. And
do not listen to that song in the presence of razors.
They told me I couldn't make that song sad, but they were wrong. But no, so I mean, I like it. I'm obviously nervous about it because I write a lot about a lot of things, but not me, not so much me.
Right.
So,
it's when someone tells you singer songwriter, I think everybody has like this canned perception of what a singer songwriter looks like, and like for me personally, and who am I to say what I am, because it's really hard as someone that's a part of a project to say what it looks like to other people. I have a hard time describing what I do, but I don't feel like I'm your typical singer songwriter guy. I'm definitely not a country artist. I come from, so I honestly think that genre might be evolving a little bit as things go too. And then you can branch out from your solo project. Like, I mean, it's what I plan to do. I've got some collaborations coming up. Wink, wink. And, things like that will allow me to explore outside of the acoustic stuff. The reason I write acoustic songs and singer-songwriter stuff is because it really is a challenge. It's almost like an exact counterbalance to what you're doing, because you can be a little bit more metaphorical when you're in a band and you're giving that, like the way you guys do it, that positive energy to a crowd. For you to get up there and be a little more because you're very powerful with your music and you're very powerful at delivering your message, and anyone that's seen you live would agree with me on that. But if you get up there as a singer-songwriter and you do a good job of showing vulnerability on stage anyway. But I mean, if you went up there with an acoustic guitar and kind of poured your guts out on something, I think that would be really well received. I would challenge you to do that, because I come from a band, I come from a band as well, and it was a big step for me to kind of step outside of my comfort zone. But I found out a lot about myself from that journey. And you as a musician, you may become a better front, you may become a better front person for your band by experiencing those, that journey as a solo artist. You should explore those feelings, Bwana.
Well, I've done a solo show before. It was only one time though. And
pics or videos, pics or videos, it didn't happen.
Right, I did it once. It was in Junction City, actually, so it really doesn't count. But I mean, I had a good sized audience though, because they knew me from being in Friday's Waiting. But that was an interesting night. It was a very interesting night. It was very nerve wracking. I was little intoxicated, not so much so that it affected my playing, but yeah, it's just a completely different vibe. I mean, like I'm used to eyes being on me, but I'm not used to eyes being like in me. So
Yeah,
it was
Right.
it was like
People,
it's like when we did. Go ahead, Sprout. Sorry.
that is when you're at your most vulnerable. Like
Mhm.
that was the biggest difference. I mean, I think we all three of us could actually say that. Like when you mess up, you can't point at there's nobody to point at. I mean,
yeah.
you are the focus. I mean, you are everything when you're sitting by yourself on stage. So it really does help. I learned not to drink so much before the show.
Mm-hmm.
Period. That's like number one. Sprout, don't get tossed. Leave that tequila,
Yeah.
leave that tequila and Jack Daniel and Coors alone, bro. Leave it alone. You're gonna suck. And
Yeah, fingers don't work too well. Fingers don't work too well when you're intoxicated. So
No, but when you're a singer though, and you don't have to play any guitar, I mean,
you can pretty much get away with certain
There was
things.
a couple times where I tied it on pretty damn good before a show.
I can do that. Yeah,
there were some great shows because I wasn't playing guitar.
Mhm.
Adding the guitar, adding an instrument to it, and having to stay on tempo and be precise. I mean, that adds a whole new element in itself. You get to a venue at 6 o'clock to load in, and you're not going on stage till 10 or 11. Sit there and try not to have a whiskey. You know, you're there with a bunch of people that you haven't seen for a year, listening to Clutch or something on the jukebox, and everyone's drinking beers. I mean, it's like try not to have a beer with your buddies in that environment. You know what I'm saying?
I know. Believe me,
you do have to be very self-aware as a solo guy because you got no one to bail your ass out. It's over. If you get tossed, as Sprout said, I got tossed for a show, and you guys both know the one I'm talking about, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I never, ever have forgot about that. And like
the only reason I remember because Dusty wouldn't stop talking to me about it.
he was very upset with himself.
You're entitled one bad show like that. Usually,
I know. That's what people tell me. Like I could not live with myself. I had to book a show there again immediately. I'm like, I got to get that one off my record. I got to wash the stank off me. I got to wash the stank. I got to clean up my life.
We both got pretty tipsy at the Shamrock show that we did, that last one we did together. Because that was just a good show, and people kept bringing us shots on the stage, and you can't say no.
Right? I mean, I've been through that. That's why
show was so much fun. It's like for me, when you're sitting up there with other people, when you're used to playing by yourself, I was always used to playing with bands, but now for the last 2 years, it's been mostly me. So like when you guys join me, or like when I play a song trade and there's someone else up on the stage to like maybe take a couple eyeballs off of me, it feels like it takes some of the pressure off. So it feels like it gives me a little more freedom to relax and perform because I'm up there with my friends, and it's like I have a little bit of a you know what I mean?
I get it. Yeah.
Me to the crowd or whatever. I don't even know if that makes sense.
I mean, hell, even the crowd was like helping sing. So I feel like it does take some pressure off because they know the songs. They got you.
It's so like
you kneel and stuff like that. Like, just point the mic out to the crowd.
Yeah, just be like, I don't remember.
Again, the main pesky
you sing that part.
When you got that guitar, you can't take your hands off the guitar. And
no, you can't.
Right.
It's too complicated, but it stinks, man. I think we had some good momentum going. I think all of us had some pretty good.
Oh yes, we did.
And then things happened, and here we are. We're on the Sprout and Dusty Show podcast. Sponsored by Big Fish Bail Bonds. Big Fish Bail Bonds is your #1 bail bondsman in Wichita, Kansas. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can call 316-262-4100. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and have your loved ones wake up at home because jail sucks. Big Fish Bail Bonds, thank you for sponsoring the show. You are our knight in shining armor.
Jail does
sucks.
Have you been to jail, Bwana?
Absolutely not. I used to go to the jail all the time to get people out of jail because I was a case manager. I used to get them out.
Funny story.
Oh God, I know where this is going.
Yeah, because we had to talk about it. Okay, so many years ago, Sprout was he wasn't necessarily a criminal or anything, but he made some stupid choices.
A couple.
And a couple. And I had to, and I actually had to go get urine analysis for the county. I was on probation, and I would have to pee in a cup for Bwana once a month, a couple times a month. It was just weird. Like, man, I gotta pee. My homegirl's gonna look at a big cup of my hot ass pee. Man. I was embarrassed. I never told you I was embarrassed, but I was embarrassed by that. I was like, fuck, I guess I better not get in trouble again. I ended up being in trouble again anyway.
I didn't think I knew that. Maybe I've heard that story, but
it's true. And like I'd see her say hello because I had to go to like group treatment as well, which was in the same building I got tested. And you know, I'd see her and just, you know, she's working, so I didn't bother. Like, hey, what's going on? You know, it'd take a couple seconds and say, hey, what's up? But I was always embarrassed when I had to bring her my pee.
It's okay, man. You're not the only one, believe me. If I had a nickel for every time somebody said, "Oh my God, I can't remember," I remember when I was on diversion and you had to take my UAs.
Right.
It's like, we don't got to talk about it, man. We don't got to talk about it.
Yeah, let's.
I was like, Bwana, what are you doing here? She's like, what are you doing here? Like, oh, well,
I work here.
Yeah, work, right? Yeah, work, right? So I'm like, yeah, well, I got some trouble. You know.
You've come a long way, man. You've come a long way.
Even being on probation sucks. Like the first time I got in trouble, I was in high school, and I was on. I mean, they threw the book at me because I like admitted what I did wrong. My dad made me. Like some of my other friends like got attorneys and stuff, and they got diversion and they got off like scot free pretty much. And I went, and my dad's like, "You did it, didn't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Then go up there and be a man and admit that you did it." And I was like, "Okay." And I went up there and I pleaded guilty. And that judge destroyed me. He made an example in front of me, in front of everybody there. And I was like, "Damn, Dad, why didn't you just give me a lawyer so I could have done diversion? I learned my lesson." But I got. You're
gonna learn today.
Right? You gonna learn today.
I should have called fucking Ronald J. Pelagi to get me out of that stuff. You know,
he was just waiting for one of y'all not to have a lawyer.
I should have learned to game the system, is what I learned from that day. You know, sad as it is, but man, I got a year probation, and I had to do the meetings with the probation officer and all this other stuff. And they're like,
"Oh man, that's never fun."
Yeah, that was enough of the law for me until the next time I got picked up by the law. But all that was before I was 18. So now my record's squeaky clean since I turned 18.
Yeah, all my interactions were way before I was 18, and I just happened to get lucky like frequently because I've had run-ins with police, but this might be why I like country music so much. But like the reason I'm gonna tell you a story. I was young and stupid, and I was hanging around with the wrong people. And I got picked up to go to a party at the river, a party at the lake. I was not aware that we were in 2 stolen vehicles. I was also not aware that there was a ton of alcohol in the trunk of the vehicles. And when we got there, they were like speeding. This was when I was like 14 or 15. I was not a good kid by any means. So the cops showed up, and you know, they're like, "What's going on here?" And they were like looking in the vehicles, and they saw that that they were popped, like they popped the ignition on the vehicles or whatever. And so, you know, they're like, "Everybody get on the ground." So everybody had to lay down on the ground, and you know, we were laying on the ground, and I'm really odd. Like when I'm nervous, I do stupid things. So I started singing a country song while I was laying face down on the grass. And one of the cops was like, "Is that you?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Are you singing Reba McEntire?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yes,
He was like, "Get up, get up, get up." He told me to get up. Everybody's face down on the ground looking at me like, "What the hell's going on?" So I get up, and he asked me to sing this song. And he's like, "You know what? I think you just got in with the wrong crowd." He's like, "You tell your grandma to come pick you up." And everybody else went to jail. Country music saved my life.
Reba saved you.
Country music saved my life.
Literally. And we still haven't heard that solo project yet.
Right.
That's really why we really got you on here, just to ambush you.
No, we love Rise Again. Don't get us wrong. We want to keep hearing that. You know what I'm saying? We want to keep hearing that. But
no, we're just trying to push you out of your comfort zone because it will probably make you better.
I like it. I like it in here.
I don't even know if that's possible to make you better, but if you did do it.
Do you really want to do that, Dusty? Do you really want to make me better?
Yes, I do. I want you to be better. If you be better, we'll all be better.
But that's the thing, man. We have so many badasses in the vicinity. It's not even funny. It's like, and we all push each other on a regular with what we do. You know, I don't get offended when I see somebody doing a little bit better than me. I'm just kind of like, oh shit, let me get mine. You know, like I've never wanted to be or get somebody else's things. I always wanted to have my own, that style and type of thing, and just compete with people that way. You know,
I don't feel like among us at all. It's really a competition. Not to say
it's a competition to be better as an artist, not to be better than our contemporaries.
Yeah, pushing
that's what it is.
Pushing each other as cohorts to you know, knowing to ask that out of a friend of yours that you know is capable of more than what they're doing. To say, hey, you know, I think you're capable of doing this. You know, you might not be comfortable taking on this project, but I think you should take it on to push yourself and grow. And
I think it'll, like, as far as like doing it, I think I need like assistance with editing, like down, because I have literally so many songs, and I think I'm not sure like which ones I want to do and which ones are like worth it. And I mean, there's a few that I've talked to Dusty about like doing a duet with me, but we've not actually sat down and like worked on it at all. I mean, it's obviously a good time for us to do that.
Yeah,
and I know I've talked with Sprout before about, you know, doing some stuff together. It's been a while since.
Do you see a lot of collaborations in your future?
I love collaborations.
I still remember the idea I had.
Yeah, it was like a Ozzy
and Lita Ford. What was that song? Holy cow. Hey, Fat Kid, if you could find like what that song is, let me know.
Hold on, bro. I'm on it.
Yeah.
Are you on it? I don't remember what it was, but I remember it was an Ozzy song.
Yeah.
I close my eyes forever.
Yeah, I thought that would be a cool one to revamp and like do.
I got you, bro. Fat Kid probably.
I sing everything.
Fat Kid's probably taking a nap.
He probably went to go get a cheeseburger and some weed. For real, he did that one episode too, man. It was great.
Like he left to get sorry.
That's why we love him. That's why we love him. That's why it's a pleasure to be a part of the Back Home Media family.
You know,
he's back there listening, Bwana. He's gonna catch anything you say and he's gonna exploit you. So you gotta be on your toes at all times on this show.
I'm good. I'm ready to be exploited. I hope I don't get messages about saying that.
Oh, you're going to. I guarantee that you're going to.
No, I definitely want to do more collaborations. I love singing with people. I love harmonizing. I like singing backup. Like, strangely enough, I'm like, that's why I like when we play together, because I like to harmonize and like I like to accent people and make them, you know, like make things sound like different and more full. So I'm always down for some collaborations for sure.
Well, I know that like when you guys play with me, and it's especially something that I'm not used to have somebody in the background like boosting what I'm doing, to have Shane playing percussion. Like when you guys are, it's a totally different experience for me playing the songs, performing everything. I mean, it takes everything up a level to play with other musicians. I mean, there's a lot of musicians out there that are freaking amazing solo. They don't need anybody else. I think we all strive to be one of those guys one day where I can go out there with my acoustic alone and own that shit. I mean,
you pretty much do that. Both of you do. So
yeah,
I'm actually
that you want to get to, you know, and then to have somebody out there to help accent things or like add their perspective of your music to your song while you're performing it. It's just this weird synergy that we've had that has made it super fun to perform with other people, you know. I know I'm getting a little hippy dippy here, but you know,
I mean, I've been working and planning on different things as far as my performance. I plan on in the future playing more keys and doing some beat making and some other kind of looping things live. So my setup will be different. It just won't be me on stage with a guitar anymore. It'll be me on stage with a 16 pad controller, a laptop, and an 88 key MIDI controller. And
honestly, I love that about you, though. I'll
be doing everything from scratch there, and using the guitar as well.
That's badass. I wish I had the ability to learn how to use all that equipment. I'm having a hard enough time with the guitar and like learning how to set this stuff up. Like I think I've used like the memory that my brain has to learn new technology. I think I might have used all that memory this year. So like to learn more technology, I have to like re-download or like get an update on it, because you know you get hit in the head a lot and stuff, and you start to forget things. You've really got to absorb them. Like you're learning all this technology. Like I'm sitting here with all these lights blinking off, and I can't believe that I got all this stuff to work. So when you talk about that type of equipment, like when I see solo artists that are out there doing what you're talking about doing, it really impresses me.
Audacious Pulse.
Audacious
Pulse.
Yeah.
Audacious Pulse.
Absolutely. I don't think you should ever pigeonhole yourself into one thing. And like you're so good at making beats and stuff, you should definitely pursue that.
Ether, anytime I just saw your message, I have wanted to sing with you guys forever. Anytime.
Unfortunately not. This is just how I am.
What did she say?
She said, "Are you high, Dusty?" And I'm like, "No."
Oh, he's high on
I'm higher than bird pussy. Caw, caw.
No, I'm not. Believe it or not, I've had a couple Modelos, but that's it. This is just how I am. Sorry. Or maybe it's a good thing. Maybe when someone asks you, do you think if anyone asks you if you're high, if that's a good thing? Or they're mostly like, this guy's like,
maybe you just seem really happy.
Yeah,
I feel like that.
I can tell you, I've been doing some personal work, and I have no problem sharing on this show. I feel like we're all
go for it, man.
But I've been doing a lot of personal work, and in general, my life has been in the past couple weeks. Despite I had another loss with someone close to me 2 days yesterday, 2 days ago, I think it was. But there's been a lot of loss for me this year, which is weird. And there's been some mourning and some stuff that's been going on. But I've been taking the time to do the work on myself. And I've done some hard work and some introspective work and stuff like that. So like in general, I have had some weird things said to me. People at work are like, "Bro, are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. What are you talking about?" And they're like, "Well, you seem like pretty laid back today." You know,
you're too calm.
Yeah, like you're like you're not saying anything. What the hell's wrong? You know, like and to be honest with you, it's like I'm just a little bit more content. I've been procrastinating on taking care of some personal issues that I needed to work on, and I've actually sought out help. And one thing that I've been thinking about a lot lately, and something that Sprout and I were talking about earlier, is like it's not okay for guys to say that something hurts their feelings. Like it's not okay for guys to say they're sad about something. Like I had legitimate things that have hurt my feelings. I had legitimate things that I was sad about, and that doesn't make me a pussy. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't make me a bitch because I'm acknowledging that something hurts or that something, you know, needs to be addressed in a positive way. And I've been doing that, and I have been getting people like, "Are you high?" I'm like, "No, I'm not." Like, I'm not high. I'm like, I'm just in general addressing some things that I needed to address, and it's like I feel like I've lost 50 pounds, you know, just of emotional pressure and stress off me just by acknowledging that it's okay to talk about this shit. It's okay to deal with it. And that's kind of where I am. Huge
advocate for death of male toxic male behavior. Like when I was in mental health, working in mental health, like working with veterans, especially, like just men in general are trained to be robots. They're just trained to be workhorses and trained to be seen as workhorses. And like they just are born into having the world on their shoulders because there's all this expectation put on them for how they're supposed to behave and how they're supposed to not feel and how they're supposed to, just be the man. But, that's one
Right.
of the things that I appreciate about you and Shane and Sprout is that you don't have, I mean, you're strong men, you're great men, but you don't have that, you don't spread that toxic masculine behavior at all. And so I think that's, I mean, we've talked about you doing what you're doing as far as addressing all those things, and I'm happy for you. I've definitely seen the change in your behavior and that you're more relaxed and that you're not so, tense.
Yeah.
You're not so intense.
People are generally very afraid to look at themselves, man. It's like
Mhm.
they I'm not sure whether or not it's whether that they know people or know they're toxic or not, but it's people I think are genuinely so fascinated by living in their bubble that they're selfish and don't like to look at themselves if they hurt people.
Mhm.
You know, it's not bad to look at yourself, and it's not bad to realize that
Yes, Jules.
certain things
Yes.
needs to change. Oh yeah, Jules, for sure.
Mhm.
There's nothing wrong with making those adjustments. You know, hey, I'm messed up. You know, let me do something about it. Most people just kind of acknowledge, yeah, I'm messed up. Deal with it. No, you'll realize people don't have to deal with it pretty soon.
No,
But
and as you learn more about yourself, you know, when you're doing the hard work, you know, it's a very raw thing for me because I'm going through it right now. I've never been that guy, really. It was a little bit of a stigma that I wanted to avoid, but I acknowledge that, hey, maybe there's something that I could do that could be productive to make me a better dad, to make me a better coworker, to make me a better husband, to make me a better business partner, a better musician. I feel more creative. My training is more efficient. I feel better at jujitsu. I like just all these things have happened and opened up for me since I acknowledged. I think true growth comes from doing the hard work, you know, and taking a look at yourself. And for me, it was a little embarrassing because you are supposed to be this super strong man, and you're supposed to be masculine, and you're supposed to protect yourself, and you're supposed to protect your family for no matter what, you know. And real men don't cry. Real men don't deal with this. It's like we're all human.
You don't have time to feel anything. Period.
Yeah, like you don't have time, and
right.
that in itself is toxic. That is such a bad thing that I did to myself because of outside pressures that you know, if someone is telling you that what you feel is not correct
or valid,
or valid, you need to eliminate that person from your life. And that's something
absolutely
that I've learned.
Yeah.
It's just I could ramble about it for hours, but I mean, true growth comes from doing the hard stuff. It was embarrassing me as a big, tough man to acknowledge that I had been taken advantage of. I had been manipulated. I had been abused. I'd been through all these things, and a professional who doesn't know me from Adam sees my behavior in 5 minutes and diagnoses it. You know, it wasn't like it was this imaginary thing and to have someone validate that to me, you know, and say, dude, what you're going through, you should be fucked up from this. You know, you should be dealing with some emotional stuff from this.
For sure, man.
To have an objective opinion like that, you know, say something like that to me, it kind of validates my decision to do the work. And that in itself gives you this confidence. You know, you're like,
you had the courage to find out what was wrong, to do something about it.
Yes.
And that's hard for anybody to come up with, you know, it really is. But if there's something that usually bothers you enough, you want to know what the problem is, and you're going to find out what the problem is. You're going to do something about it. And I commend you for doing that.
Well, thanks.
You know, like I said, it's hard for anybody to look at themselves in a mirror and determine and figure out what needs to be changed and who they are. Facing yourself can be very scary.
For me, it was, you know, and I see the damage I was doing to my relationships too, you know,
and yourself,
and myself. I mean,
like I would see sometimes you would get so dark sometimes, like when you were going through stuff, like, you know, and we talk when we get like that because we both have that issue sometimes, and even Sprout, I know you go through that stuff too, but
oh yeah,
like, you know, we have a there's sometimes like, I've seen you get super, super dark, and I'm like, man, it's scary because I know how it feels. I know how, it is
It
to
feels
be in that
hopeless.
place. It does. So, but yeah, I commend you for like, finally, doing the work, because I definitely see a huge, huge change just in even in the way that you carry yourself. Your shoulders are relaxed. You breathe deeper and easier now, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
Well, and it's so weird because I can fall back into it
Mm-hmm.
like
Oh yeah.
that. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can't get complacent. I did a
Yeah,
few
yeah.
I did a few things, in a row, and I stayed really consistent for a few weeks because I acknowledged I had some deaths in the family, and I had a friend commit suicide, and I had an
Mm-hmm.
uncle that I was close to. In the last 9 months, I'd lost a few people, and the world just kind of seemed shitty. I'd canceled all my gig. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Stuff kind of started to pile up on me, aside from my other issues that you guys know about.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just too much. It was just too
Yeah.
much for me to carry. But I can easily go right back down that
Mm-hmm.
road if I don't
Mm-hmm.
do the work, and if I don't communicate effectively with the people around me, and
Mm-hmm.
explain to my wife, explain to my friends. I'm not fucking ashamed of it anymore, because you know what? I feel better. And if
Mm-hmm.
you got a problem with me doing something that makes me feel better,
Strength
Damn right.
through vulnerability.
exactly.
Seriously, people think that being vulnerable. Nah, there's a lot of strength to
That's
be gained through
strength.
vulnerability.
Takes a
Really.
lot more strength to do that than to be strong, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this ridiculous thing where like people aren't allowed to talk about how they feel, or everyone just gets butthurt over every little thing now, and it's just like, I don't know where you draw
I
the
mean,
line.
not butt hurt, but like butt hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. And the things you see people, bitching about, you experience these things in your life, and like, I'm not going through it personally, but I have some family friends of mine that I've been friends with for a long time that just lost both their parents within a month's time.
Mm-hmm.
And they're friends of mine that I've known since I was a little boy, and it just breaks my freaking heart what they're going through. Their parents were
Mm-hmm.
lovely people. They were amazing people. They had amazing lives. They both got sick. The timing was real, but like, and then I see someone waking up, I wake up and somebody's bitching about something on social media that just, in the grand scheme of
Something
things,
insignificant.
yeah, it's like, just pick your
Yeah.
battles, because the next post I see is my buddy that just lost both his parents. And
Mm-hmm.
you're looking for sympathy because you can't get out to get a Popeye sandwich.
which I ate today.
Yeah, I remember that, and I was rubbing it in. If you didn't get out and get a Popeye sandwich today, that's on you.
I got one today. Yeah.
And I'm not trying to get too sentimental, but
but you're correct, man.
I feel like I needed to address it, because I did get asked a question there
Mm-hmm.
about, are you high? And like, in a way, yeah, I am kind of high. I'm kind
Yeah.
If you're James Brown, be like, I'm high on God. I'm high on God.
High on happy.
Kind of realizing that that I don't have to be, I don't have to accept it, and I don't have to be unhappy. It's
That's what it takes. I mean, like people don't understand. It's like, all right, well, you won't be complaining about half the stuff you complain about if you realize, is the stuff I'm complaining about really affecting me that bad? Is it really that important? Is it really vital to my survival? Is it vital to my mental health? And I guarantee you, like 99% of that stuff, the answer would be no.
No.
Yeah.
And people can't live without that bullshit. They just love it. They just shove it to the face every chance they get. And then they complain about why they're so stressed out, and why the things that they shouldn't be concerned about, which is usually almost other people's opinions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just like fill themselves up with so much weird stuff, and in some cases hatred over some stuff they don't take the initiative to understand on something else.
And it's something that they're not going to do anything about it besides share a fucking link. That's all you're doing about it.
I don't take anybody seriously on the internet when they say they think something, or they say they feel something. Man, they never do what they say they are. They never put their money where their mouth is. You know, I don't care who hears this. Try me. I could point you out. Like, what have you done besides go on the internet and run your fucking mouth, man? Not that I care about what you're saying anyway, but that's all you're doing. You're not changing shit. You're not getting people to think anything. You know, you're as bad as the media you claim to hate.
Yeah, you're actually in a way, like the irony of it is you are actually perpetuating that message and that diatribe to everybody that's in your close network of people that are going to see it. Because I'm on Facebook because I want to see what Rise Again's doing. I'm on Facebook because I want to see what Sprout's doing. I'm on Rise Again because I want to see what the other back home media shows are doing. I want to see cats. I want to see people's family. I want to see vacation pictures. That's why I'm on social media. You saw. I just did my 1,200
chicken fried steaks, man.
1,200 deletes.
I don't want someone to ram this shit down my throat. If I want it, there's plenty of information out there at my fingertips that I can go get in 5 seconds right now. I have a screen in front of me. I can literally type something and tell you whatever you want to know right now. I don't need you to feed it to me. I will go out there and seek what I want to seek, and I will analyze the data in a way that I see fit. And if most people out there aren't intelligent enough to do that, that's why they're on Facebook sharing fucking memes and pushing that stuff. And
hey, this is my evidence.
Those are the
read it, look at it. It's a pie graph, and it's got colors and stuff.
For real. Yeah, you even know what it means.
For real.
He's the same dude that left his fucking grocery cart in the parking lot at Dillon's. You know what I'm saying? When you fucking see somebody leave their grocery cart, like you're too good to walk that thing 10 feet back to the cart rack.
I put my cart away, by the way.
Fuck, bro.
I do too. I'm a citizen.
What kind of human?
You are
a cart away.
Goddamn savage. I mean, if I back into a fucking grocery cart that you left and you're still there, I'm hulking on you. I'm Hulk smashing your car, pulling you out of there. I mean, it's just insane. Sarah Rogers had a really good question that I think, the three of us could address, and I'm not sure how long we have here, but we do have a little bit of time. She's asking if, we put these types of things into our song, and if so, does it help or just help it make more sense?
I've been very political in my music over the years. I've been very socially conscious in my music over the years. It's all come from my life. I'm pretty sure there's things that Bwana does and Dusty does, and as far as writing their music, where it comes from a place that's personal from different experiences, for sure. That is a really good question. I mean,
absolutely.
I grew up hella hard, so my reality is going to be a little bit different. And plus, I've lived more years now. My reality is going to be different from anybody else's, and so that's where I put it in music, and I keep it off of social media generally.
Yeah.
I mean, the personal, emotional stuff, I tend to put in my solo music. I mean, the solo music that I write is, for the most part, for people that have heard it, would acknowledge that it's pretty honest, pretty open. It's pretty vulnerable stuff, and it helps me. It's catharsis for me. And it's weird to me now that I wrote these songs when I was in a different place, and as I'm a little happier now, if I put my EP in and I listen to my songs now from a completely different headspace, those songs mean something entirely different to me now. It's straight up weird that what I wrote when I wrote them to what they mean now when I listen to them. That's one of the greatest things about music, man. You can go back and you can encapsulate that time period from your life when you were a musician and you were feeling this certain way. And it's like, I'm probably glowing because this is part of the reason that I love to be a musician, but you create this thing, this feeling that you have, and you make something tangible out of it, and you're able to listen to it and revisit it at a later time. And I put a lot of this stuff in my music, like how I'm feeling at that time. That's what I write all my stuff about.
Same.
But it's as time goes by, the songs mean something different, and I can apply them in a different way, which is actually kind of a cool thing for me. But none of it makes sense. I mean, she asked if it helps it make more sense. Like, none of it makes more sense to me, no matter how much I write about anything that I feel or understand. Like, the wormhole continues. It just kind of helps cope with the feelings and hope that other people don't feel alone when they feel those things, to be able to portray what you're feeling and share with people that they're not alone. That's something that's big for me when I write.
Mm-hmm.
And you, Anna, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I agree. As far as like, whatever I'm going through, I definitely put in my music. I think most people that have listened to my music have seen like my relationship as far as like with, with my family, with my religion or faith, and all of that thing has been in there. Like I went from, the beginning where I was going through my struggle with, being homosexual, or, acknowledging that in my family, and dealing with stuff I had to deal with because of that, to where I'm at now, where I'm just a completely different mindset in regard to like when I wrote those songs. So no, I definitely put what I'm going through in my music. I have written some stuff since all of this has been going on as well, in regard to the race stuff, and in regard to just the isolation and the political part of things. But that's like solo stuff that I've written, but I have written things about it. It's definitely in my music for sure. But no, I do agree with you that it does not make it make more sense.
Not
it
at
just
all.
makes like I get to that point, and I know you've been there too, like in this situation where you just feel like you're at a boiling point.
Yes.
And just like you just can't do it anymore. And it's like I've only done one post in regard to any of this stuff, one post a while ago, and that was the only post I've said in regard to any of the stuff that's going on, because I just got so tired of every day like talking about it, people answering questions all the time, and it just kind of got a little overwhelming. So now I just I put it in my music, and I did that one post, and that's it. But no,
it's
it does not.
I get
compartmentalize it, right? Like the music almost helps you compartmentalize it.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to. I just don't like people talking shit to me. Like it's like when an artist or a celebrity or somebody that's well respected in the arts does speak about politics, the first thing somebody wants to do that doesn't do those things, they want to tell an artist they shouldn't be talking. Shut up and sing.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, I'm done talking. I've said what I've had to say for years, and you can't change everybody. You can't get through to everybody. I'm just going to walk through my life, and I know what I'm going to do. And that's how that's how a lot of people need to start taking stuff these days, because it's not like everybody thinks they're so much better than somebody else. They want to talk about divisiveness and division, but they don't want to get rid of the labels that they choose to choke themselves
and they're posting
with.
and those are usually the people that are posting the most divisive stuff you can find on the internet.
I mean,
those people that are talking about we all need to come together as one. Don't disregard the Confederate flag or whatever fucking thing is this week. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to.
It is week to week. I'm not particular, but it is week to week.
A huge racial dispute or a political dispute or anything like that. But the people that I know, like, I'm systematically unfollowing all those people, like the people that are political. Whether it's it's
1,200 deletes.
Let me tell you guys the absolute truth, because nobody likes hearing that shit no more. If it meant getting rid of if it meant getting rid of division and divisiveness and separation forever, will you quit being Republican? Would you quit being a Democrat? Would you quit your religion? Would you quit what you think your prejudices are? Are you willing to get rid of everything that you want to hold a title to?
Absolutely not.
To get rid of divisiveness? I don't fucking think so.
I don't think
y'all ain't ready for that, and everybody screaming that stuff is not ready to get rid of any of that.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think anybody. Here we go.
Man, we should have scheduled this for like 2 hours. Damn it!
It is our fucking show, but you get into this point where
they're not going to get rid of that.
If you're standing on your soapbox and you're pointing fingers at me, I already feel like that is a counterintuitive thing to what you're actually preaching you want. If you're standing on that soapbox and you're barking orders at me to do what you like me to do, that already tells me you're not interested in actually coexisting with everybody. Right. And I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. I'm pointing fingers at everybody. Pointing fingers at everybody from all sides, from every fucking facet of this whole thing, from the coronavirus to the racist stuff to any of it, to any of the stuff that's going on. I don't think most of the people that are on here have any intention of actually backing up what they say they're going to fucking do. And you know what?
Zero.
If people were held accountable for the things that they said on social media, and if people were held accountable for the way that they disrespect people on social media, the world would be a better place.
Oh,
social
absolutely.
media can be used in a positive way. I would argue that what we're doing with social media right now is a positive thing. You know, this is a productive conversation. We're all friends here. We're all adults here. I don't think anybody's getting butthurt about anything that's being said here. But nobody's about that fucking action. Everybody wants to talk. I've had a few fucking keyboard warriors confront me, say some disrespectful stuff to me. I found some people in my life that are toxic online and stuff like that, man. I don't need your bullshit in my fucking life anymore. I don't need it. If you're posting that shit and that's all you're ever posting and you think it's cute and you think you're a troll, you're perpetuating the thing that you say you hate, and you look like a hypocrite and you look like a fucking loser. Get a life. True. Get out there and do something, dude. You're on.
Everybody wants to call themselves woke.
Yeah.
Like Jesus, man.
Like
when is it gonna be okay for people to just be like, you know what? I don't know the truth right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What is so wrong with that? Like, everybody thinks they know the truth. Everybody's got a tinfoil hat on, which is cool. And maybe with all these theories and whatever else being thrown out there, they may be right. I can't say they're wrong. But in the meantime, can't we just admit we don't know the truth about jack shit and quit going at each other about stuff we don't even know what the truth is?
Exactly.
That's why I don't argue with nobody, man. I know how to talk. I know how to think. And I also know that what's setting people off is stuff that we don't know the truth about, that they swear. But once again, I've got a bar graph. This is my evidence. I mean, come on.
Okay, so imagine this scenario, Sprout, to exactly what you're talking about. Imagine there's a press conference tonight about the coronavirus and the Black Lives Matter movement. Okay, this is a hypothetical situation. President Donald Trump comes on with the person that he's running against Creepy Joe Biden, and then Joe Jorgensen, the libertarian. They all come out together and they go, listen, guys, we understand that we really don't know what the fuck we're talking about here. We're going to absorb some information for a couple days. We're going to rationalize it. We're going to compile the data. We're going to make some decisions based on science and numbers, and we're going to come back to you. If
Donald Trump were actually standing there and saying that with his own mouth, I would observe.
Fucking dead.
I would observe.
You'd keel over dead of a heart attack.
I would keel over and die of a heart attack while observing. Yes.
I mean, why is
I'm trying to imagine that sentence being said that by him.
Forget the fact that it's Donald Trump.
Okay.
It's hard to find anybody to admit that they're wrong these days.
Because
on all sides.
No political game to admit you're wrong. It's better to pivot. And
absolutely. All the president and whoever else aside, it's really hard to find anybody in our government to really.
Why do our leaders
be accountable for what they're doing and saying these days?
Why do the leaders need publicists?
Exactly.
I mean, why does a leader that is supposedly doing the best thing for all of us need somebody to spin his shit in the press? I mean, if you're just direct reporting to me the good things that he's doing for me, there's really no need to have.
Bestie, don't you know that's what Twitter's for?
Yeah.
Hell, we're on Twitter.
Yeah, like if that tells you anything, the leader of the free world shouldn't be there if we are.
Remember when the president was too fucking busy to do any social media?
And that being said, we don't know what Twitter is. We don't know how to do Twitter, but we have a Twitter, and you should follow
I have a Twitter. I post stuff on the Twitter. I still don't understand the point of the Twitter.
What is your Twitter?
It's Rise Again ICT. But
Yeah,
I don't really
man.
know what it's for. I don't know what it's for.
Follow us on Twitter and shit, yo.
You'll see stuff.
I've never understood
We've got
it.
things.
Yeah, you can retweet and quote stuff. Oh, that's great.
Oh,
What does
yeah.
that mean? I don't know. I don't know.
Oh boy. Well, Bwana, thank you for being on the show tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure to see you.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
You know, maybe next time you come back, we'll play some crumpets and tea, and then we'll get on some water polo.
Maybe I'll do a solo for you.
Tonight's episode is brought to you by Big Fish Bear Bonds.
Because gel sucks.
431-662-4100.
The pokey sucks for any bloke, yeah.
7 days a week. You can call him. You could get out of the clink, mate. What was that accent? Was that
what was that, Dusty?
Australian? I feel like you went Australian at the end there.
Yeah, maybe a little Paul Hogan. I don't know where that went. I should never do it.
Crocodile Dundee would be very upset at you right now.
I should never do
it. Crocky.
Never make me do that. Please.
Oh man. And thank all you guys for tuning in, and thank you guys for starting watch parties, continue all that stuff. We went live tonight on Twitch, I believe. We're also live on Twitter, and what else? What is that? That Parachute or something?
Periscope.
YouTube,
okay. We're
YouTube. We're live on all these places tonight. And once again, Bwana, can you tell everybody where to find Rise Again? And your lovely lark of a voice.
You can find us at riseagainict.com. You can also find us on Facebook, iTunes, Apple, what else? Amazon, Spotify, iHeart. Just Google Rise Again ICT. You'll find us.
Man, I was on the iHeart last week, man.
iHeart
last week.
Last week I seen you guys.
I heard that new The Baby track, man. That shit was dope, son. That shit was
Seen you in Arkansas. I was a fan now.
That shit was slamming. That shit was banging.
Was it dope? Was it dope, man?
It was dope.
All right, we need to get the fuck off of here.
Yeah,
it's
shut
dope,
it down.
nigga.
Shut it down. You know what the fuck to do. Come on.
All right, fat kid, drop that beat.
Well, I don't think it, I thought it, that's different. I said what I said and I meant it, or lamented. Words given weight without thought in a person, the way that I talk and the way that I ought to be able to pause and to say that the fault can be placed on my arm, to display for assault, to disgrace in his arm. Pray for the day they could wait for the calm. You can't control the storm, only weather it, whether it's 5 weeks and 5 days of rain sideways, or scorched earth, search for death or water left with all the thorns, with the petals gone.